Hello everyone, Soul Hackers 2 is finally upon us and I am happy to announce that's actually quite good. While it doesn't reach some of the highs as Persona 5, it offers a consistent, enjoyable experience that only gets better the further you play it. In the spirit of full disclosure, I received this game before launch for free by Atlus, but I'll try to remain as unbiased as possible. This game definitely does have a few teething issues that you can sense right off the bat. However, if you're willing to overlook those, I believe there is a quite enjoyable experience here. This review will remain spoiler free, however I will be showing some gameplay from about the middle of the game, so if you don't want to look at that, my recommendation completely depends on what you think of Megaten already. For those who are familiar with the series and enjoy its mechanics, I completely recommend buying this on sale. I'm sure the price will drop down at some point after this review goes live, so fingers crossed. However, if you haven't played any of the Megaten games before, I would probably recommend one of the mainline entries before proceeding into this one. So with all that out of the way, let's see what really makes Soul Hackers 2 the most 7 out of 10 game on the planet. Soul Hackers 2 sees you, Ringo, an agent of Ion, attempt to stop the end of humanity itself. You and your party will be chasing the 5 Covenants, sources of mystical power that allow the user, when assembled, to change reality to their will. Now, if you've played a Megaten game before, you'll be pretty familiar with how this gameplay actually goes. You'll be going around to different dungeons, collecting demons, fusing them for their new skills, and just leveling up and getting more powerful. There are, however, a few changes to the normal formula that have been introduced here. The biggest one is the new stack system, or the Sabbath. Persona 5 had its one mores, Megami Tensei games generally have the press turn system. The Sabbath is what makes Soul Hackers just a little bit different from the other entries. For hitting a weakness, you don't get an extra turn like in other games, you get one of your demons in your roster added to your stack. At the end of your party's turn, however many demons are in your stack will influence the damage that is dealt to all enemies. You can kind of think of this like all-out attacks in Persona 5, it just deals damage at the end of your turn. Later on in the game, you unlock passive abilities and unique skills that can increase this number even further. For example, Charge and Concentrate in this game not only increase the damage, but the next attack you do will add an additional stack. Unique to this game are Sabbath abilities. These can crop up whenever a demon with the ability joins your stack. When you're going to perform your Sabbath, you can choose an extra ability to tag onto it. Now these are all unique depending on the perk, but you can get anything from healing, getting MP, attack bonuses, buffs and debuffs, the whole lot. It adds a nice bit of variety. Now if I'm being brutally honest, it's not as great as the press turn system. There's something really nice about press turn that can change the way a battle is going on a dime, and I really enjoy that. Now again, this is coming from a guy that actually enjoyed the Smirk system in SMT4, but something about the stack system to me is just really safe in my opinion. Nothing ever really changes in a battle, there is no real consequence for failing here, and some people might actually enjoy that. This is kind of like, you know, an easier SMT experience. Combat has also been simplified a bit. You only have 4 main magic attacks: fire, ice, electrical, and wind. There is no light and dark, but there is a new ruin element which just covers all the ailment attacks. Now this is a change that I can get behind because all of these ailment attacks do damage. In my experience, Megaten games haven't really incentivized you to use ailment attacks, at least not the ones that I've played. 9 times out of 10, you don't need to poison or sleep the enemy, you can just kill them. And most bosses are resistant to all these ailment attacks anyway. So tying on weak damage to these chances of hitting ailments, and along with the fact that a lot of enemies are actually weak to ruin, makes it super enjoyable, and I actually found myself using these abilities. I really hope to see this copied in a lot of other Megaten games. However, Jack's about to get on his high horse really quickly, so everyone get ready. I'm starting to get really sick of the fact that the latest Megaten games have gone away with the rank system in terms of buffs and debuffs. Now in SMT4, the way it worked was that attack, defense, and evasion increases or decreases could stack upon each other 3 times. Now in this game, if you apply attack up again once you already have it, you just extend its duration. You don't actually increase the potency of the effect, and this is something that actually quite annoys me. It really limits the use of abilities that cancel out buffs and debuffs. If I'm 1 level down defense, then all I really have to do to cancel it out is just cast defense increase on myself, just neutralizing it. I don't know, this is something that I have personal issue with the last few games, and I really wish they went back to the old 3 rank system. I think even in SMT3 it was actually a 4 rank system, but please Atlus, bring it back. The last thing to talk about is the commander skills, and these are free actions that you can use once a turn. Essentially, all of these guys are on cooldown constantly, and you get to pick one of them. This allows you to do things like changing the demons equipped in your party, increasing the damage on a Sabbath by targeting one enemy, or increasing your ability to gain stacks. Now, I quite like this system. It's just a free action you get per turn and really makes the combat feel a bit more tactical. Unfortunately, before you unlock this ability, you are locked into using the demons that you've equipped for a fight beforehand. Now, the reason this is a major issue is because there are some fights early game that you can only realistically do damage if you have 1 or 2 elements available. Now, because you are locked into whatever demons that you're using at the start of party, if you haven't built them for this, then you're kinda screwed. And it really speaks about the main issue I have with this game. The boring dungeons are one thing, and the characters are fine to a certain extent, but this game has such horrible pacing. Now, that horrible pacing comes in 2 forms, the first of which is the difficulty. This game, I played on hard and it is super easy, and you just kind of trundle along thinking, oh yeah, this is fine. Then all of a sudden, one random encounter will come up and it'll just kick your ass. Now, that might just be, you know, regular Megaten speaking, but it does offer a bit of a weird experience. You know, everything's fine and then everything's dead all of a sudden. Now, if you're a masochist like me, you're not going to have a real issue with that, and that's especially prevalent because you can just save anywhere in this game. It does kind of cheapen the difficulty a fair bit, the fact that if I die, I'm not going to lose any of my progress, because yes, I am one of those people who is going to save before every single fight, and I mean, why wouldn't you? The game gives you that opportunity. Along those lines, you unlock an ability quite early into the game that allows you to instantly go from dungeon to city map and heal immediately. You can get full HP MP heals whenever you want in this game, really, so actually conserving your stuff isn't really that big of a concern here. Now, pacing problem number 2 is the story, because my lord, this game just fucking goes for it. Full on pedal to the metal, we're taking no prisoners as this is Exposition Express, and my god, you're along for the journey as you get hit with so much text and dialogue. Like, come on guys, give me a few minutes just to digest it all. Stop talking! Alright, look, think of it like this way, right? Persona 5 would not be as approachable as it is if it didn't have the 3 hours of just easing you into it, right? I mean, it's got all that dialogue and it's very streamlined for like the first 3 hours of the game, but once you've passed that, you've learned it all and you know what's happening. This game doesn't have that 3 hours. In fact, it has 20 seconds, and that's the loading screen right at the start. This game just hits you with so much information to begin with, and while you do get it after a while, it just kind of baffles me as to why they took this approach. Essentially, they did the Star Wars method of just hitting you with a bunch of text before the actual movie begins. And it's like, that's fine, but surely there's a better way of going about this a little bit more naturally. Again, see Persona 5, that game had an excellent introduction. And I think this all stems from the fact that, unfortunately, I can't really relate to the protagonist at all, and it's not like I'm supposed to. She is a literal robot born from what is essentially God. I mean, I don't know, I just didn't feel really any connection to her, but fortunately, as you do progress in the game, you do start to bond with the characters a bit more. The biggest standout was Saizo, because the other 2 main characters are just, you know, personalities of the organizations they belong to, at least initially. Saizo has a bit of flair to him, and they do spend a lot of time developing his relationships later on in the mid-game. Now, this game does feature a confidant social link system known as the Soul Matrix. Essentially, during your conversations, you'll earn points with one of these 3 characters, and every 10 points you get to go further into their dungeon. If you want to max out your characters, you will have to do this, and this is why everyone's saying that the dungeon design in this game is repetitive. It never really improves on itself. It's just mazes with corridors with a different bit of paint in each unique area. Quite frankly, it sucks. And you know, coming off from all the spoils that we've had with the Persona series, I just wish there was a bit more flair to all of this. I mean, the setting of the game is this futuristic, technological kind of dystopia. There's so many different ways you could go with this, but there's just so much blue everywhere. I am sick of seeing the color blue in this game. But maybe I'm taking the mickey out of it a little too much here. This is still a quite enjoyable experience, especially if you enjoy the more mechanical gameplay side of things. I think you're going to have a bit more fun with this. At the end of the day, it's a Megaten experience, and they've got the formula refined pretty well at this point. You're gonna have a certain level of enjoyability with this, no matter who you are. However, I could not recommend this game on good conscience if I didn't state an opinion about something, and that is DLC in this game. It is extortionary, and I encourage that if you're going to buy this game, do not buy the DLC with it. $60 for a pack of DLC for a bunch of items that should have just been in the game anyway, including the Demon Mara. Not being in the game, it's just so ridiculous. I don't know about y'all, but I honestly think it's becoming harder and harder to remain an Atlus fan. I mean, we have come off Persona 5, which was a great game, but after that, what have we really gotten? We've got an SMT5, which was a mediocre game at most. We've got Soul Hackers 2 now, which, you know, is fine and everything, but this ridiculous DLC pricing that they're encouraging is so dumb. I really hope management realizes the fact that if they continue down this path, they're going to destroy all the goodwill that they have, and I really don't want to see that for this company because I do enjoy their games. In short, I do believe there is something on offer here, especially for Mega 10 fans already. I believe the systems in this game offer just a little bit of fresh air, and you know, the mechanics that they've already got in place throughout this whole franchise are so irreplaceable. They're just always fun, no matter what context they're in. I believe there are a few faults in this game, and I don't think that should be overlooked. I'd recommend getting this game on sale. I don't believe $100 is a nice price for it, you know. Bring that down a bit, and I say it's a must buy. Do not buy the DLC. I think that's where I'm going to leave off my opinion there. Thank you everyone for watching. I have got way too much footage of me and my brother playing this game and taking the piss out of it, so that'll be a video at some point. A big thank you to the Patreons, Ren, Luke78776, Calidor Bagel, and Yoba. Your support is always treasured here, so thank you so much. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some coffee to get down me. It is way too late at night as I'm editing this. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you all around.